was launched by the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama. We've lined up a list of experts to talk to Professor Fred Newton Benka as a clinical epidemiologist. Also, Richard Danu is a professor rector at Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. Also, Richard Salome is the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, and Kojo Bafo Ahenkra is the President of the Renal Patients Association. But first, let's listen to President John Dramani Mahama, the launch of the famous Mahama Cares. Some have said that, well, it should be called Ghana Cares if you really, really do care about the people and not make it a political thing. What do you think? I don't know. You can always join us on our Facebook page at 3FM927. The hashtag is 3FM Sunrise. My name is Johnny Hughes. Let's listen to President Mahama now, shall we?
With what she's going through, because she's just one of many of our citizens and countrymen and women who are going through what she just talked about. And the perception was that if you were rich, it was a disease for the rich. Hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes were diseases of the rich. But increasingly, we see that it's inflicting more the persons who are much poorer and can least afford to be able to manage those diseases. And that's why the Ghana Medical Trust Fund has come at the right time. This program must be linked and will be linked to our primary health care project, which we are yet to launch.
The best in the morning.
Volunteers and designated community pharmacies
On 3
where
FM,
our citizens, wherever they live, or the CHIPS compounds, will be required to go and take their blood pressure, check their sugar, because like was said by the UNICEF director, these diseases are preventable. And even if they have an onset, if you detect it early, you can have a favorable outcome if it's detected early. And so the primary health care would have community volunteers who will go from house to house occasionally, maybe every 3 months, every 6 months, and just take people's blood pressure, check their sugar level and all that. We'll have a program where women, are able to detect lumps earlier to be able to get treatment in case they are developing breast cancer, and so many of these other things. So I think there should be a linkage between Mahama Care and the primary health care program when we launch it. But more especially, a lot of these diseases are caused by ignorance in terms of our lifestyles and all that. And so we must also, as part of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund program, launch a very strong awareness campaign so that people would know what the trigger factors for these non-communicable diseases are. I understand that some of them are genetic because you can inherit it from your parents and your genes, but a far greater number are lifestyle diseases. They are acquired, they are not genetic. And so if people just know what their disposition is and they are able to make changes in their lifestyle, I'm sure that we should be able to bring down, the level of disease burden that we currently are seeing.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3 FM.
That was the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, the launch of Ghana Cares or Mahama Cares, not Ghana Cares. Well, I'm sure that people are getting into my head. They're suggesting that Ghana Medical Trust Fund, that's what it's called. Yeah, Mahama Cares, politically called. And some Ghanaians are saying, let's call it Ghana Cares. Let's listen to Kwabena Minta Akando. He's the Member of Parliament for the good people of Dwaboso. He's also a Minister for Health. Here we go.
We have a dedicated sources of funding, and other people have also expressed a desire to contribute to it. The bill is also ready, and we'll be presenting the bill to Parliament immediately after the recess. There will be a criteria. There will be a number of factors depending on the budget we have. I mean, your occupation, the level of salary. I mean, you put a lot of factors into place. to be able to determine who and who we can assist. But ultimately, it is our wish that every Ghanaian suffering from this chronic disease will benefit. That is the ultimate aim. Once you are a Ghanaian, you are a prospective beneficiary. We have a dedicated sources of funding, and other people have also expressed a desire to contribute to it. The bill is also ready, and we'll be presenting the bill to Parliament immediately after the recess. There will be a criteria. There will be a number of factors depending on the budget we have. I mean, your occupation, the level of salary. I mean, it will put a lot of factors into place to be able to determine who and who we can assist. But ultimately, it is our wish that every Ghanaian suffering from this chronic disease will benefit. That is the ultimate aim. Once you are a Ghanaian, you are a prospective beneficiary.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
MP for Dwaboso, Kwabena Mintah Kandor, right on the heels of what the president said. So the agenda is set now. We'll get into the conversation. Guys, quickly, your initial thoughts about this whole, Ghana Cares or Ghana Medical Trust Fund idea. Is that what we need at this point? We already have the National Health Insurance Scheme, which is supposed to cater for some of these things. But this one goes more specifically towards, if you like, those conditions that have to be managed and not necessarily the things that we can cure, like malaria and typhoid and all of that. We're talking about hypertension, we're talking about diabetes, we're talking about kidney failure, liver diseases, etc. Is that what we need at this time as a country, Helen?
It would appear that the government has seen some need to expand the tentacles. It's maybe not enough, or I shouldn't even say maybe not enough. We've all been here in this country when we saw how kidney issues became very topical because of the lack of dedicated care. So if this particular trust fund is to target these chronic illnesses for which we're always seemingly scratching our heads about how to properly and sustainably cure or at least help citizens going through that condition. We live to see. I know we're still getting into the specifics. A task force has been set up by the health minister to also monitor how things progress. I'm hoping that they provide us with some periodic updates so that we know if we're getting best bang for our buck. We've often talked about how best can government support those who are going through more bang for our buck. More bang for our buck.
Best bang.
The best bang for our buck.
I learn from Helen every day.
So she's talking about
seriously,
the best bank to keep your coins.
Charlie, it be idiomatic expression.
We want to make sure that we're utilizing our monies in the most efficient way.
That's what it means.
Sixtus nearly said idiotic.
I beg you. So, Johnny, that's what I'm looking for.
The SHS chaps, no? They write exam on these things.
Idiomatic expressions.
So when Helen is
synonyms
speaking,
and
take your
antonyms
time. Let her say the things so that the boys and girls will learn.
By now they have gone to school.
Please note that down. So
the best bank
for your buck. Yes, you want to know that it's going in the right direction. So this task force, again, I'm hoping will give us these updates so that we know how exactly the trust fund is supporting and aiding Ghanaians going through. It's not just that kidney diseases are in there. You've got diabetes, hypertension, and all of that. And most importantly, we've also got to look at the lifestyle decisions or lifestyle reasons that lead to these long-term diseases. So whilst we are providing care, I hope we're also getting to the root cause so that we can, stem some of this in the bud. Sometimes I'm thinking, all these diseases that were once relegated to the older folk, it's for people in my year group, in my age brackets. It's very, very, very concerning.
You remember we started this whole journey about regenerative health, pretty much like what is being done in Canada. I remember is it the AMA or the Ghana Health Service? It's been many, many years ago. Was it under Professor Chimambedu Akosa? Then at the Ghana Health Service, they started this whole concept of regenerative health. So your food now becomes your medicine, where you are not looking at trying to ingest medicine, but your food now becomes your medicine. And I always go back to the example of a friend's dad who's a medical doctor in Canada, came back. Somebody was complaining about headache and examining the person and said, no, go and buy Weetabix for the person. So they bought Weetabix, ate it, drank water, and said, go and relax more. So while the person felt that he had to do item 2, go to the washroom. And then by the time they finished, they said, oh, I'm okay. But ordinarily here, first thing would be go and get them para to, chew 2 taps of para.
Yeah.
So he was the person who actually drew our attention to this whole regenerative health and how it can help us all. So I'm happy you mentioned the, taking care of ourselves bit, because we tend to live, for want of a better expression, recklessly. Yes, and reckless is not just about drinking, smoking, and sniffing stuff or whatever it is.
Even not eating at the right time.
Yes, it's reckless. Very reckless if you're not the quantity or portions of food you're eating.
The kinds,
kinds
these
of
days
food
we
you're
are
eating.
introduced to that Western palate, and even they are starting to move away from this kind of fast food agenda. The chemicals, the chemicals in the
people
food.
assume that when you have some, fast food and then Charlie, you're closer to a brochure than
You've arrived.
Yeah, you have arrived. You can your fufu and your alefu and your stuff, your tofu and all those things, dry okra. If you eat those ones,
How many times do you hear a typical Ghana girl saying, take me to a fufu joint?
Helen will say that.
Joint.
As for that
Helen
one,
will
I
say
think it's
that.
not a typical Ghana girl.
no, but as for the fufu and the banku there, the Ghana girls, they like it. You can't take that away. Trust me.
Even
It's
the
not just shawarma.
Even the
mention
fufu and the
shawarma
bamboo.
first.
Look,
If you are there before you can explain yourself, then they'll say, okay, oh dear, Yanko KFC. And I think those who see themselves, they've started moving away from KFC. Crosby will tell
be
you.
careful with the brand name.
Please.
But you see, again, even the fufu or fufui and banku and things that people eat, you get into a chop bar and then you find small fufu and
Plenty
you
meat.
can't measure the protein. And then on top of all of what they have, they also have what do you call it? Kusiani meku.
Thank you.
I said, when did we start eating fufu and soup with egg and pepper?
I
It
tried
was
them before.
happening behind
I tried
closed
them
doors.
before.
It was as for the boiled egg agenda. People have been asking when it was happening, but it was happening behind
sure?
closed doors. And one courageous person decided, I'm tired of living a secret. So let me provide the evidence. And everybody else, I've been doing this in secret. I didn't know. Yes, they've been eating the boiled egg and the kosiane meko on the fufu. Now it's
Right.
become
No. Me, I
mainstream.
realized the thing very late. I think one day I went to the
I haven't tried it, by
Some
the
popular
way.
joint
It
be in
doesn't
my-
look and sound well to me.
Please don't try it.
try it.
Please, no.
Because this
Try
is
it.
not
There's
they're
a way
adding
the pepper mixes with the
sausage.
soup.
They're adding sausage.
Okay, that one I know.
To the
That one
fufu
have you see, even
sausage.
Abiam has given up
Yes.
for you.
Sausage.
things that we knew back in the day to be the standard. And the other time I was discussing we just had a chit chat with Black Rasta that if in the past if you wore a kaftan and you wore sneakers with it, you look very awkward
Yes.
in public. But these days it's becoming like it's okay
fashionable.
Yes.
because as you say, somebody just decided that Charlie, let's break it.
Yeah.
Let's finish
Let's
everything.
just bring it out.
Because back in the day, if you wore a kaftan, you had to wear proper, Oxfords or some
Yeah.
broke or some shoe, some sandals. Then but these days, Charlie, all manner of things go.
Look at what
I've seen
happened at
people
Gobe
wear-
Fest.
I've seen people wear jacket with jeans and then they wear slippers. And then they wear some nice shirt in there. And they are at a public function. It's
No,
okay.
but I don't do that in public. I only do that for you people.
No, I'm not
We
saying
didn't mention
you.
your name.
Why are you feeling guilty all of a sudden?
We didn't mention you. Look at what
do it in
happened at
public. I only
Gobe
do it
Fest.
here for you people.
The tactical combinations that we saw. I mean, now it comes crab. We are combining too many things,
So you see,
and we
even
have to
for
think about our
gobe, we
health.
moved away from the traditional gobe.
Yes.
It's your typical beans,
Yeah.
oil, gari, then maybe some plantain on top.
Yes.
Now we are adding pear, we are adding sausage, we are adding
Kusiane
meku,
meku,
we are
mentioned
fried
Cerelac.
chicken.
Yeah, Cerelac. I heard about that
Yeah.
one too. Cerelac. Somebody
it's
is
for
adding
all ages,
Cerelac. No, today Gobe.
Gobe and Cerelac.
Yes.
Oh, come on. That's
they don't come for here. No, somebody said it here.
Yes, it was during Miriam's show.
Yes. I heard that
Cerelac
one.
and Gobe.
Share, the Cerelac is the Gary.
Please, I beg you. Let's not be
the guy is
supporting
a
certain
Kukwasi.
things. We beg you.
Yes, we beg.
You know, but it raises a key concern. I mean, somebody can go through a whole week without fruits, not even tasting a single fruit. And the penchant for us to have a lot of processed foods is also, you know, people like they're stuff in cans and bottles and they are busy trying to get everything. And then I also find a very interesting phenomenon of people saying, oh, we are doing natural juices. But when you drill further down, because of what my wife does, we drill further down, you find that people have added some syrup or some sugar, something to
So
it.
it's not natural after all.
No, it's not natural after all. So the fruit is there anyway. It's been blended. But they think that it doesn't taste the way people would buy. So aside all the ginger and the pepper and things they add, let me still go ahead and put a little syrup in it. And that for me is a killer. It's a killer.
If you want to remain authentic, just go to my village. You know, go and buy the mangoes there, and then you can add some shea fruits.
Yeah.
And you come. We don't have pineapple.
Are they generally quite health conscious, Sixus, in your village?
Generally,
Health conscious. Are they thinking about what
Yes.
they eat and what they put in the body?
you see, the good thing for a lot of rural Ghana is that you don't have a choice. You eat what you have. And typically, rural Ghana is blessed with good vegetables. These vegetables that will give you all the vitamins that
Right,
you are looking
right.
for without necessarily asking for or looking for a processed vitamin.
Right.
So where you go and buy your typical vitamin C, dissolve it,
supplements.
and they will just take their mangoes and they are
okay.
They are okay. In other areas where they have the bananas and things, they will take it and they are okay.
I'm
and the
always
vegetables that this what you call green, we have
Sunrise on
types of
3FM.
different varieties.
varieties
In the
of
morning.
I'm always happy when I go
Vegetables.
to Tamale because you will every meal you have, right, comes with a certain quality. Every meal. If you're eating tubani, you know you're getting a lot of protein because you're eating beans. If you're eating dry okra, you know that this is not exaggerated okra.
you see dry okra before.
You know, if you're eating dawa dawa jollof, you know, so
That one day
everything.
you've eaten it.
I've tried
So
it.
everything everything you are eating, you know, it comes with a certain kind of nutritional value. You know you are not eating junk.
Yeah.
And that's why the people up there, they're strong. So
Exactly.
when you go up there, you know, Charlie, I don't know what we have
Everything
done to
is
ourselves here in
authentic.
Accra. Everything we are
It's
eating
natural.
is...
It's not the GMO infused. Anything you know that you are natural, and so you see we tend to live longer.
Okay.
That, not just my village, like rural Ghana
Right.
generally,
Right.
and also healthier because you are consuming directly from nature, and the environment itself is conducive
Great.
enough.
Let's go on to the phone lines now. Kojo Bafo Ahenkra is the president of the Renal Patients Association, is joining us along with Professor Fred Benka. He's a clinical epidemiologist. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, Johnny.
Great.
Yeah, good morning. And thank you for having me and visit your church with me.
Great, Prof. Now, could let me start with you, Kojo, and ask you what your initial thoughts are about this whole Mahama Cares or Ghana Medical Trust Fund. Is that the savior you've been looking for?
Thank you, Johnny, very much. Yes. It's something we've been looking for a very long time.
Sunrise
But,
on 3FM.
like we said,
the
finally
best
now
in
it
the
is here.
morning.
The only skeptical of one or two things we are looking forward to it is we were not part of the whole thing. We heard the thing has been formed, the thing has been inaugurated, and we, the beneficiaries, we are not part of it. How the whole thing was set up, we don't even know how the whole thing is going to work. But we believe and should have a trust that it's going to serve the purpose of which the president wanted to be served. That is come and take care of, these chronic diseases, and it's killing a lot of people. We just praying that it will really save lives, so that we too we can enjoy life with our family a little bit longer.
Now, the previous government had free renal dialysis, so to speak, for your likes in the run-up to the 2024 general elections. Did that serve the purpose for which it was meant?
I would say somehow yes and no. For now, yes. The only thing I've realized with when this free dialysis set up there, it has brought the mortality rate very low. Now you do hear this person is gone, this person is gone. Once in a while you do hear it because the people are getting their session regular. But the point is, it's not only just the dialysis. It's not only just that. We keep saying this. It's not only just the dialysis. Access of getting onto the dialysis machine. Now, the least you can get is about 5,000. The fistula. That one too is there. If you don't take care, it gets spoiled. You need to go and do it. You are looking about between 5,000 and 6,000.
Right.
It's there. And so we have a lot of simple challenge. That's why we're saying that we're expecting the Mahama Care or the Ghana Medical Trust, and we should have involved us. So we could have told them some of the petty things which are very, very important to the renal patient. We're expecting that they could have involved and could have said, but we are there. Your fistula can get spoiled, and we need to go and do another. Without fistula, I cannot do dialysis. The neckline is around between 3,000. As I'm talking to you now, your colleague, Thomas,
right,
has a problem with fistula. He has been to cardio. I was with him at cardio for almost about 40 people. Still called him. And it's a challenge we are still facing. He needs to pay about 7,000 to get the fistula fixed. So we have a challenge with all these things. But we are hoping still they will listen to us and we can bring whatever we need to do on board.
Prof, let me come to you now and ask you, are you satisfied with the way the trust fund has been set up, the announcement that was made by the president? Is that the way to go in terms of trying to curb this public health situation that we have?
Yeah, so thank you very much again. Let me declare my, what do they call it? I was a member of the task force that developed this whole thing. So,
right.
You can decide to take my comments based on the fact that I work with the team
right.
to develop the concept. Yes, I think an issue like this is a very difficult one because there is no country in the world where anybody can take up of chronic diseases because it's not like an infectious disease, malaria, diarrhea, and so on. Once you hit it, you're going straight, either getting to the end or you have so many years working with health facilities and specialists to try and prolong your life. I mean, the truth is that we are all here and we all be going, but we could prolong people's lives. So the way it's set up, it's still being developed, but the key issues are that there were a couple of things. First, we wanted to improve coverage so that somebody in Boku or Wa who has no access to first diagnosis and subsequently if you have to do dialysis, should not have to travel from Boku to Tamale or to Kumasi. So that's the first.
Sorry, Kunzo, you'd have to raise, gentlemen, the lines just tripped. Sorry about that, Kunzo. Please raise them back on the phone line so we can continue the conversation. Sorry about that. Speak with Professor Fred Binkah. Thank you, Prof, for coming back. Sorry, technology fails when you want to depend deeply on it. But you were making a point as to how this whole trust fund has been set up. Kindly wrap up your point, sir.
Okay. So we're looking at, I've talked about coverage, which is critical,
right,
so that we bring most Ghanaians back into the system. Secondly, we did not want to overlap the National Health Insurance Scheme that is already in existence and has been running for quite a while now. So we're going to work on both ends. First, looking at the end point. So National Health Insurance covers a lot of things in the framework, and then there are things like what your colleague had just said, dialysis, special treatments that are required for a couple of patients,
right,
and ultimately maybe transplant.
Now,
okay?
Go ahead, sir.
So we are going to focus on those areas and make sure that there is access for everybody as much as we can. In doing that, we have created a fund that has to get contributions for the general public.
Okay.
And invest its money. So it's not like the NHIA, we just collect money from the government and that's it. No. We have to all help the government. Government will make a contribution. We will also make a contribution so that we can extend this across the country. So that's the third part. The fourth part is that we expect this fund to strengthen the health system. So that what we have currently is the old model that is looking at infectious diseases, but we need to move on to non-communicable diseases. So it will be more friendly and help the ministry to align itself to providing chronic care.
Now, what kind of infrastructure is it going to depend on? Because if you're looking at reach and spread, you also must consider infrastructure. What's your response, sir?
Yes, so there will be infrastructure extended first and foremost to at least all the 16 regions with time. We will not necessarily be the ones providing the infrastructure, but we'll provide the enabling investment. For example, we are going to fight to make sure that, let's take the dialysis machine that everybody knows about. So if you send a dialysis machine to WA, you can get a tax-free. The government has to take off the tax so that we can spread it. If you took it to Nkwanta or Raura, places where currently there's nothing, we will use those means to try and extend coverage. Number two, we will protect the patients that are in that area so that you can make your money back. So that's why we think that we can work with private sector to help to extend it. The government is not in a position to extend it to all. But with our discussions, we can do that. That's one. Two, we will be accrediting specialists because this is specialist care. It's no more the general medical officer's care. We have to accredit specialists. We have to help to train more specialists so that all these areas will have access to specialists that can help us do the diagnosis and to monitor and treat the people. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Then we will increase our information network. We will strengthen the information bit of it. And we will, in the interim, also make sure that there are certain treatments that can be provided in places where there are no equipment, but are outside the range of the National Health Insurance that will be made available to make sure that they can almost immediately start providing care. Say, if somebody had a heart attack in Tamale, they don't have a cath lab, but there are drugs we can provide so that they can keep those people alive till they get the necessary care. So there are many of these things that will be done.
Great. Now, let me come to you, Mr. Henkra. So this is how the whole thing has been set up. You were earlier talking about the fact that you were not involved in the formulation of this whole idea. But now you know how the thing is going to be run to your benefit or for your benefit. What do you have to say in response?
Yeah, I think now we like the information is now coming out, so at least we are quite clear now. We understand how the whole thing is coming to work. Initially, we didn't know. We were left in dark. We didn't know how the whole thing was going to work. So, like as Prof is saying, it's quite clear now. We understand how the whole thing is going to work. Just a little bit comment. I hope, like you were saying, they should extend the program outside because it's like we don't have a lot of dialysis machines in town. I mean, there are a whole lot of places they don't have the districts, the regional, they don't have. A lot of them sometimes have to travel all the way from Begro, far and near to Kolibu to come and have their dialysis. So as this thing is being implemented, we pray that they extend the facilities to all those places. And then they should look at the shortage of consumables. They should look at it, the shortage of consumables. Every now and then you hear there's no consumables. Patients will have to struggle, beat round before they can get a place to do dialysis. The private too are charging very outrageous prices. So we beg Prof, as they are looking at all those things, they should look at it. They should try and get more facilities in the nearby places so that people will not travel coming all the way to Kolibu or Kumasi or some places to do their dialysis so that patients will have a little bit of respite.
Now, Prof, I come back to you in terms of the lifestyle audit of people. You have been within this public health space and many other specialties for a very, very long time. If you look at the way we live now as a country in terms of what we ingest into our body, food, alcohol, and many other things, what would you say? Could we have gone around that and tried to sensitize the public as opposed to setting up this whole medical trust fund?
Well, that's a very good question. I think the answer is that you have to do both. Lifestyle changes are very, very, very difficult. And sometimes we've acquired these lifestyle changes because of the developments that are there. I mean, somebody lives in Accra, he has to take trotro to work and back. He doesn't walk like he does in the village and so on. So we are tackling this both ways. We are going to also use some resources to influence the other end, to improve on the lifestyles of people. And this is going to be something that we hope the Ghana Health Service and the National Health Insurance will dedicate money towards. Also, remember that under the NDC, manifesto, there is another component that is going to be introduced, which is the free primary health care. So the free primary health care will focus on the education, it will focus on screening to catch them early, and I think it will put a lot of effort into schools, because these lifestyles are developed when you are young and you're in school. If you catch the bad habits, then it follows you to the end. So I'm sure when everything is outlined, people will see that, as I said, we will tackle it from the two ends, the early stages and the late stages. And then NHIS will be in the middle. Yes, we definitely need to change our lifestyles. We should know that when we get some of these chronic diseases, they are self-inflicted. You choose what is going to be your problem. There are some good news we have around. Smoking is down these days. The alcohol consumption is going up through the roof. We are also being very sedentary. We are not doing any exercise. And we are not screening ourselves. We are not going for checks. You don't have to wait till you are sick before you get the screening.
Right.
Every twice in a year
right.
or so. So there are many things that will come out through this whole process, from the primary health care through the NHIS, and then to the fund. We hope that people will contribute to help us use the fund as a seed to extend services and to emphasize some of these areas which do not look like what do you call it? They do not look sexy. But we need to train, go to the schools, and we need to start from the villages and the towns.
Great. Ms. Ayinkra, let me come to you and ask you. So, Prof says we need to change our lifestyles. I know that there are many within your fold who neither smoked nor drank alcohol, but before they knew it, they were together with many others who did that as renal patients. What do you have to say regarding the lifestyle audit as well, from where you sit and from what you know as President of Renal Patients Association of Ghana?
Thank you, Johnny. Like you said, lifestyle, yes. I for instance, I'm a victim of lifestyle. But I think that for my 11 years on dialysis, what I've just realized is that, like this alcohol thing that they are talking about, I just see to be, when you take maybe 10%, it's just about roughly about 10% out of it, because it's like most of these renal cases that we get, the doctors will tell you, I'm sure Prof will even tell you, it's either you are hypertensive or diabetic. We don't do regular checkup. And I think it forms part of the lifestyle. We don't do regular checkup. Somebody might be there, he's suffering from maybe hypertension. He might not be aware. He keeps taking the painkiller before he realizes it has destroyed his kidney. So lifestyle moderation is very important. But the alcohol thing, yes. But I say it's just a little bit minute, because most of the patients that we are in Kolibo, most of the renal patients that I know, it's either you are hypertensive or diabetic. And all depends on the kind of food, the drinks that we take, like all form part of the lifestyle modification. So like what Prof is saying, I think education needs to go there a lot, because the youth of today,
the youth of today, Johnny, you and I know the youth of today, the rate at which they are drinking, the rate at which they are living their lives, the rate at which they are drinking this energy drink, especially the truck drivers, the rate at which they are just taking aphrodisiacs, chasing young and those things. They don't know, but I'm telling you, it's causing a whole lot of damage into our body system. So I think there should be a whole lot of program on lifestyle modification and how we can educate the youth. Because if you don't take care, Johnny, at time we will not have anybody to replace you guys coming. Because come to Korle Bu, take the renal patient. The ages is between 15 to 40.
You don't say.
I'm telling you, it's between the age of 15 years to 40.
Wow.
That is the chunk of the youth. You not see 70 years old. You will see them, but once in a while you see one of them passing through. But you see these young, beautiful girls, energetic guys, because of the sickness, they've grown lean, they are looking sick, and all because of this type of lifestyle modification. So the problem is with the youth and the kind of life that we are living. This kind of thing, the life that we are living, I mean, Friday, today, holiday, let's go and drink. And they're not drinking proper alcohol too. They're not drinking proper alcohol too. You know this, black potassium and those things. You can just imagine. So I think there should be a whole lot of program on our lifestyle modification, and we should educate the youth, because the way it is going is very, very serious.
Now, it's a genuine concern you raised there, because you're not the first to have mentioned this, and passionately so. But then I'm also looking at the numbers that will throng in. Prof has mentioned that we're going to get all of us to contribute to help. There is a certain pushback that comes from society when they talk about people's lifestyle. They talk about shisha and all those things. Now there's opioid, there's red, all manner of things that people take, and they ignore them. When they come back to say, we want you to support us to be able to get better health, they actually do get angry and say, but we saw you wasting your life while we were taking care of ourselves. Do you get to have those kinds of conversations as well, sir?
Oh, we do. We do, Johnny. We do. You know, when we were kids growing up, our parents would tell us, had I known it's always at last. And now we wish that we could turn back the clock. Because sometimes when we sit down there and we are talking to ourselves, why was I doing this? And when we were being told that this will worry you in the near future, would you know? Because the point is, when you start today, tomorrow next, you don't see the impact. That is the challenge we have. When we start today, today you start the red, you start the shisha, you go, you are high, hey, you're having fun, you are doing it. Tomorrow you get up, you are so strong. You don't show the impact. It will take you some years, maybe 10, 20, 15 years. That is where the impact begins. By that time, things are too late. So we do have the conversation. Sometimes when we see them, let me use a typical example. I was with Tom, your guy. Do you believe they have a 9-year-old patient at Cape Coast Teaching Hospital on dialysis? 9 years. The last time I met that guy, I was talking about how did this happen. The boy himself, he doesn't even know what even happened, but probably I like it was coming from some of the mining areas, so probably the water thing is worrying him. I met a guy who came to Korle Bu recently, and you could see he doesn't even know what is wrong with him. And I think he started this thing, life of life thing, and I was just talking to him, advising that maybe you can make it when you take good care of yourself. Some of us have been there 11 years, people have been there 20 years, they are still alive, taking good care. You can make it. Don't give up. It's all a matter of you taking good care of yourself and stopping certain kind of life. So we do have this conversation. But the point is, I think the education is still not down there. They still believe whatever they are doing is the right thing for them to do. So I think if there's going to be a national program on that, whereby the media is coming in, it's on telly, it's on radio, proper education is being made, I think we can make a headway towards this one.
Thank you, Mr. Ahenkorah. We're grateful for your time. He's the president of the Renal Patients Association of Ghana. Earlier, you heard Professor Fred Binka. He's an epidemiologist. He's also part of the team that put together the Mahama Cares, or the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, as it's so called.
Sunrise on 3FM, the best in the morning.